Hello guys, and welcome back to Tribes Ascend. Today we are rocking the Juggernaut class again, with a little bit different of a loadout. Today I'm using the fusion mortar rather than the MIRV launcher, and I'm also using the combo of the light machine gun and the spin fuser disc, which as it turns out is a pretty effective combo. The thing you have to know about the light machine gun though is that it's basically a noob weapon. I mean, it's kind of a bullet hose. 70 or 80 rounds depending on how much you have it upgraded, and 70 to 100 damage per shot. Maybe a little bit more if you're in close, I don't exactly remember. You basically hold down the trigger and everything in front of you dies, so not a lot of finesse, not a lot of skill involved. I personally prefer to just use the spin fuser, but it can be a pretty good offensive weapon. This is a match on Stonehenge, obviously. This recording was actually the second time I'd played this map. First time I didn't really like it, but I've started to appreciate it a little bit more. It just plays a little bit differently than most of the other maps because of its size, for one thing. I'm sure there are really fast routes on this map, but not many people seem to have them down, so the grabs in general seem a little bit slower, and because the map is so small, in combination with the slow grabs, it means that chasing is a little bit easier. In addition, the generator is a little bit difficult to get into, assuming it's well defended. Don't get me wrong, it's very easy to get into at the beginning when nobody's in there, but once you've got a good defense set up in it, you can defend it with relatively few people. So the generator becomes a little bit less of a focus, at least in my experience. And while the matches do generally just devolve into a team deathmatch after the first couple captures, it's alright. It's, like I said, it's a little bit different than most of the other maps. Now, as far as this particular match, it was a pretty close one. We end up winning, and I don't think I'm surprising anybody there because I'm posting it. But it's 4-5, so it's a pretty close match, and basically just turns into a crazy melee at the end, which is not bad. But I did have an issue I actually wanted to talk about this episode. I was going to talk about rage quitting, and I'm going to ask for your guys' opinion on this. I have thoughts of my own on it, but do you guys think it's okay to rage quit? Do you think it's poor sportsmanship? Do you think that you should feel bad if you do it? Do you think that you should not do it? Let me give you my opinion on rage quitting. When it comes to a game like Tribes that is so based around teamwork, for the most part, I'm not saying that every win is because of a well-organized team, but if you do go into a game with a well-organized team, you're most certainly going to win, or at least do very, very well. So I still consider this a very team-based game, One really good Pathfinder is not going to be able to win the match on his own because the flag stand is going to need to be cleared, and the flag is going to need to be defended. So just having a ridiculous capper doesn't guarantee a win. And in that respect, I do consider this a very team-based game. So with that in mind, the way I look at it is not that it's necessarily wrong to rage quit in that situation. So when I play this game, I do rage quit fairly often. Not every match, not, every time I play or anything, but when I rage quit, it's never because I'm not doing well, It's one thing to rage quit because somebody kills you. That, I think, is just poor sportsmanship and just kind of silly, You should just get back up and try again. When I rage quit, it's usually because my team isn't doing their job. So if we have people consistently going in, grabbing our flag and capturing it while we have 7 people in our generator, that's a situation in which I will consider rage quitting. If I'm playing Pathfinder and I'm getting these really fast grabs over and over, but nobody's defending me, nobody's covering me, nobody's getting our flag, making it impossible for me to capture. In that situation, yeah, I will consider rage quitting because it becomes a situation in which you can't possibly win, obviously, but also, your team just not doing their job. It's not just both teams giving their best. One team just happens to be better than the other. It's, people screwing around and basically ruining everything for the people on their side. And in that situation, I think it's perfectly legitimate to quit the game and go look for another one. Again, I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on this, but in any sort of team situation, I'm thinking about, any game that involves a lot of teamwork. It could be an RTS, it could be some sort of RPG situation, like, I don't play World of Warcraft, but if it's, say, a raiding situation, one person not doing their job correctly basically means the entire team is going to lose. Or, again, I don't play MOBA games, but if you're talking League of Legends or Dota 2 and there's one guy, let alone an entire team, just screwing around and not doing the job, basically ruins that game for that entire team, right? So, in that situation, I think that if you were to go into a LoL game or a Dota game, a StarCraft 2 game, and you were doing your job to the best of your ability, but getting completely screwed over by teammate or teammates who are just completely not doing the objective, then yeah, I think it's a legitimate thing to say, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to go find a game that has people that are actually doing what they're supposed to competently. And again, that's different from these guys are just better than us, they're owning our faces. Oh, I'm just going to go switch into a match that I can win. No, that's different, and that's poor sportsmanship, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you're free to do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. If you feel like, you're playing a game to wind down, and it's recreation, right? It's not your job. So you don't necessarily have to feel bad about quitting from just a horrible beating. But I generally won't do that. Just because I think that in that situation, there's always the chance that if your team is doing their job that you're going to be able to come back. And I've done that several times in this game, Maybe somebody who is really good at Pathfinder decides to switch over to Capper. People see, okay, you know what, we have to pull this together a little bit more, and you get these really good comebacks, which are very, very satisfying. So, that's my thoughts on it. Again, I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. Look at this right here, this crazy just melee that's happening. Just so many enemies, so many teammates, just explosions everywhere. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think rage quitting is ever acceptable? Do you think it's acceptable in certain conditions? Do you think that it's always acceptable? But I'm not going to continue on with that point because I think I've covered it. And it comes up a lot in tribes, I think, because again, because as first-person shooters go, this is a pretty team-based game. You don't get a lot of teamwork in a game like Call of Duty, and even in games like Counter-Strike, they're not quite as team-based as this. Because the objective is usually something like eliminate all the enemies or, bomb a certain position. It's not take an object and bring it back to your base, so I don't know. It seems like it comes up here a lot more. And I know a lot of Tribes veterans will say that Tribes Ascend is far less skill-based and far less team-based than the previous games in the series, but I haven't played any of the other games in the series, so I don't know anything about that. Can't speak to it. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Again, would like to hear yours. Now, let's see, what else have I got coming up as far as Tribes footage? I think this is the second to last bit of footage that I have on my hard drive. The other one is a game as Infiltrator, where I am basically using Infiltrator as an e-grab machine, which as it turns out is very, very good. For those of you who don't know, an e-grab is where you grab the flag, the enemy flag, right as they're about to capture your flag. You get extra points for it, and obviously just tactically it's a very, very good thing to do. That guy got owned. Because, they think they have the capture, maybe their defenses come down a little bit, and you can rush in and hopefully get the return as well as the grab. But there's a match that I have of that. Infiltrator is actually incredibly good at that. I think that's the last bit of footage that I have on my hard drive, so I'll have to record some more, I guess. As far as what I've been playing in the game lately, ever since the Sentinel update, I've been messing around with that quite a bit. Not sure if I'm going to do a video of the new SAP-20 or whatever it's called, the new phase rifle, basically. Essentially, it just does more damage than the phase rifle, and it's ridiculous, assuming you can actually aim with it. But I don't see the need to necessarily do another video of it. As far as the other new stuff, haven't gotten a chance to try out the new mine or bomb yet. It doesn't seem like it'd be particularly good to me, but I don't know, maybe it is. But the shotgun, oh man, the shotgun is ridiculously good. Basically, a lot of times people underestimate you as Sentinel, and you know, will come in very close and get a little bit sloppy with their spin fuser shots. The shotgun just tears people apart at close range. I mean, I very consistently find myself killing brutes, juggernauts, and even doombringers with the shotgun. It's that good of a weapon, and so I'm very happy about how that is. In addition, I found that it works pretty well as a chasing weapon. If you can get in front of the enemy Pathfinder, you're going to be able to do a good amount of damage to them with it as they go by, and then hopefully finish them off with the sniper rifle as they get away. So, in my previous video as Sentinel, I spoke about how the majority of the time what I do is stay right next to the flag stand so I get a straighter shot. But what I've been experimenting with a little bit more recently is actually standing away from the flag stand and getting the guys as they, basically as they get away. And if you can manage to head them off with the shotgun, like I said, you're almost guaranteed the kill and the return, so it's a very good thing. Other than that, I've been playing Infiltrator some more as well as a sort of a stabby kind of class, using the close combat perk, which basically gives you double backstab damage, meaning you can kill a medium class in one hit as long as it's a backstab. That's pretty ridiculous and incredibly fun as well. Having definitely a lot of fun with that. Been using the stealth spin fuser a lot. Just as I said before, I really like spin fuser type weapons, and for the long time I felt that the Jackal was kind of a noob weapon as well as the light machine gun, which I'm using here. Since they nerfed the Jackal, however, a lot more people are using the spin fuser, which is good because it actually, you know, requires a little bit of skill. But the stealth spin fuser in combination with the smoke grenades is actually a ridiculously good weapon, so you'll get to see some of that soon. I did have a chance to get the twin fuser as soldier, so maybe we'll get to see that twin fuser plus spare spin fuser combo that I was talking about, I think last video. And in addition, I've been working more on Pathfinder, trying to get a little bit more proficient with roots and, you know, running the flag and that sort of thing. Basically at this point I feel like I'm pretty good at running the flag, but I still need to get some more of those roots down, probably by watching Small Kiwi, as he's one of the best places to go if you're looking for that sort of thing. Get another look at the bullet hose in action. So freaking cheap. Now, it's a very difficult thing actually to kaboom. It's a very difficult thing actually to kill another Juggernaut who has the light machine gun if you're using the spin fuser. Although it can be done. Basically what you have to do is get a little bit crafty with your grenades. Assuming that you manage to get him down a little bit with the grenades, you should probably be able to take him out. But if you're just going one-on-one, it can be a little bit difficult. So I guess with that in mind, I have to address whether or not I think the light machine gun is worth getting. I would say probably not, honestly, unless you really, really like the full auto weapons. It's a little bit less flexible than the spin fuser, you know, it's really for a one-on-one combat situation, which, unless you're playing team deathmatch, really isn't your goal as Juggernaut, right? So, my advice would be stick with the spin fuser, unless, again, you really, really like the full auto weapons, or you really, really like going one-on-one with people. Which, again, is not quite doing your objective in a capture the flag situation, but hey. I would spend the 88,000 experience on something else. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I would love to hear your thoughts on the whole rage quitting question. There will be more tribes very soon, so I guess that's about all I had to say. Final score 22-4. Meh. Not terrible, not great. Anyways, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on the next video. Later.